And welcome back to my stream. My name is Renya Mashita and you are welcome and a happy weekend, I think. I hope it is a happy weekend for you guys. Let's see if I have a audio, because audio is always kinda a thing. Yes, we do have an audio, so this is nice. Alright everyone, for today's event, I'd say we're gonna go back into capacities. At some point I am going to do something else and other things than capacities. But for now I am really into capacities and I like using it, and any chance I get I want to use it. It's just as it is. Okay, so I zoomed in a little bit so you can see it better. At least that's what I'm hoping, that you can see better. As for today's plan, I have a few things that I want to enter, so we're gonna do that. And also I want to continue using the things that I showed you previously so that you can catch up and see it again, so that you get used to seeing or doing things, or maybe find something that you want to take over in terms of use it. Maybe you get inspired, or maybe you're just new, so going on that part would also be fine. So if you're new here, so welcome. This little playground is called Capacities. It is a note-taking app. It is a mix between Notion and Obsidian. If they ever had a baby, this would be it. And it's a really, really fun and easy note-taking app I found years ago. I think I've been using it since 2023, and I have a pro plan, so I pay for this note-taking app and I don't regret it at all, because I have all the features that are available and I can use them, and some aren't in the free plan, but you could totally use this in the free plan unless you want something that is not there. The basics from capacities is that they operate from objects. So there aren't really folders in this sense, or pages. You do have pages, but there aren't a rigid structure in terms of folders, you know? This might look like folders, but they're not. They're not rigid. These are objects. So Capacities is an object-based note-taking app, and every object in it of itself is a database. Notion is all about databases and creating them and doing all these formulas and all these kinds of things. And Notion is really intense because you have to build every single thing from the ground up. You have to build the structure, you have to build the databases, you have to build the relations and linking and backlinks are a thing is a whole nother level, because it's terrible in Notion. So you spend hours upon hours upon hours creating your Notion. In Obsidian you have so many add-ons that you can use, or plugins. And again, you spend hours upon hours, maybe not as long as Notion, but still a ton of time to get your setup right, and it's still not working for you after spending all the time. You might want to check out Capacities. They make it really easy for you to start. You have something like a hub where you can dump everything, and that would be the daily note section. So your daily note section is your hub for everything. You can use it as for everything, because if whatever you do on this day within the daily note section will automatically have the day and be linked to that day, which is awesome. I'm telling you, it's awesome. You don't have to do much for backlinkings at all. It just creates them. The moment you link something, it will have a backlink. It will show up down here. You will see this is the daily note section, and you have things you have done today. Why is this not in English? Let's change that. Let's go to language and turn it back to English. I have absolutely no idea why this keeps switching to German. Anyway, you will see down here the things that have been created today. And you will have that for each single day. If you have created something else on this day, this is a label, authors. It is a query that I've created that day. As you can see, I listened to 2 audiobooks. I finished one and started another. And Moonstruck, actually, I finished, I think, also on the same day. I think I finished it on the same day. So actually, on this, I would actually have to go into the audiobooks. But I will do it later on. So you will see everything you've created that day in your daily sections. And you also will see data references. So wherever you reference that day, you will find it down here and could potentially put it up here if you are planning that way. If you are not, you still have data references to check up on what is this about. And this is a embedded version. So if you go onto this toggle moment, you will actually see what is beneath it. As you can see, I still have yet to rate this book. It's actually 5 stars. I really like Psycho, the second book with August and also Lucas. It's a really nice one. I'm terribly disappointed in the current book. This is the 6th book, actually. I started this whole series, I think, at the beginning of the week. I'm probably finishing by the end of the week. Latest Monday. It depends on how much I'm going to listen to over the weekend. But I'm already at book 6, about 4 hours in, and it's 7 hours something. So, not sure how long the series will last me, though. If I'm generous, I'll leave it for next week. If I'm really into it at the end, I'm probably gonna just finish it within the weekend. And also Moonstruck. Moonstruck is the third volume, which was also really good, so I like that too. So it will get a 5-star rating too. And this is about Atticus and Jericho. It's also a good one. And I haven't even written down when I was listening to book 4 and 5, because those were the last 2 days. So I'll be doing that today. I'll add that. So for starters, how you do that? You go with like an ad because you want to link something, and then whatever it is you want to link. So I was listening to Headcase. Headcase, here it is. Headcase. So Headcase, let's go hover above the name or the link, edit, turn it into a blog, and then simply go by the 3 dots down to change view, and then choose embedded. That way you get the toggle down. It was a good one. It gets 5 stars. It was the 4th book. I was listening to it, I think the 3rd and 4th. So these 3. I finished Psycho in 1 day. And no, Moon Chase things in 1 day. Headcase. I didn't finish Headcase today. I finished Madman today. So wait, I started this on the 2nd, finished it on the 3rd. That makes more sense. And I need to write my review down here still. I'm leaving that out. So let's go with the next line. Again, add. And I listen to Madman. Turn into apply. Again, oops. Change view. You could also leave it like that if you want to go like in a beautifying my space type of situation or something, you could do that. Okay, Madman was also a good one. It gets 5 stars from me. I was listening to it until today, so I started it yesterday, finished it today. So I should have 2 for head case. Or did I still listen to it yesterday on the 3rd? I think so. Wait. Moonstruck was until the 3rd. Yes, I started on the 2nd, ended on the 3rd. I usually take about 1 day. So Head Case didn't start until the 3rd, but it went until the 4th. So that makes more sense. Let's go back to the 2nd. So yes, this makes more sense. So, and today I had Madman. Yes, Madman. And I did start today. I started something else, so like another one. Today I started the 6th books, which is Lunatic. Lunatic, I started today. Turn into like, change view. I started listening today. So, not really sure if I'm going to finish it today. Probably not. But maybe tomorrow. I'm probably most likely going to finish it tomorrow. And currently I'm kinda disappointed, so I am going to add my review point of view already. I'll tell you what this is about first, this Lunatic. Lunatic, the public summary is every psychopath in the Mulvaney family has a role to play. Archer Mulvaney is the gambler, a drunken reprobate, making his living as a high-stakes poker player. Very few people know the real Archer, not even his brothers, but there is one man who knows far too much. Mackenzie Shepard spends his days photographing endangered wildlife. He is also the brother of a psychopath and son to the woman who literally wrote the book on raising one. When his mother asks him to head a secret government project, it seems like the perfect excuse to run away from his life. But running from his past has Mac colliding straight into Archer, and that's a problem. For the project to be successful, Mark and Archer have to agree on every decision, and the two see eye to eye on nothing. Except maybe water drops. Now think of the 18+ version of it. The water drop is off the charts. When Mac's old life comes back to haunt him, Archer insists on putting their differences aside to help keep him safe. But Mark, like Archer, is used to solving things on his own. Can they finally stop fighting each other to find the truth, or is their relationship the next thing on the endangered species list? And my problem with this is currently, throughout the first 5 books, Archer has been portrayed as this drunken, high-stakes poker player. It's fine. It's okay. But she does kind of hint at what people know the real Archer. But the thing is, in this family, lying is not allowed type of situation. So you always have to be truthful towards your family, and family is most important. However, in this case, for Archer, it isn't. And it's not even that he's lying or anything that rubs me the wrong way. What rubs me the wrong way that they are simply glossing over it. they just gloss over it, and so far, I don't like that. I don't like the glossing over part. And I would have preferred hearing Archer's story in terms of, yeah, maybe meeting this Mackenzie person, and also having his father, Archer's father, Thomas, being like, hey, you have to get away from this drinking, you have a problem type of situation, and then you get kind of like on the path on seeing him grow out of the drinking lifestyle and simply moving on to this side story that is, or the problem they're solving, kind of takes over, and he gets less and less drunk and kind of like cleans up. That type of situation I would have preferred, because in my mind that would have been more logical than him lying like a compulsive liar to his brothers that he calls family. I mean, I really don't like it, and I don't like that Thomas is in on it, that he kind of supported it, because he made the rules, and not lying was one of them. And he just kind of, yeah, even if you go with the storyline, at least make the people actually react that way. I mean, Noah reacted the way you would suggest, or like think someone would react to it, but otherwise they literally just glossed over it. I mean, there was, maybe it will be brought back up in the last book when it's about Thomas, but if it's not, it's kind of like he has no reviewing thing going on. And it's kind of like, it just rubs me the wrong way. It's my least favorite book of the whole series so far. I liked everything else. I liked Unhinged, Psycho, Moonstruck, Headcase, Madman. I liked all of them, all the 5, but this one, I think she completely missed the mark with this one. She, it's only James, or probably he. It's the author. The author kind of missed it for me, so, alright, so with this embedded, it actually allows you to change things within the particle. You know, the objects on the side, I call them objects, but everything within that object I call particle, because I don't know what to call it. This is an object item. I think a particle kind of fits, so it's a particle for me. Alright, so we have that, and okay, I wanted to create a custom journal object, an items object. That is something I found from the Capacities documents page, where you can create these things. I created, like, I think it was last Saturday, I created a notebooks object for notebooks that you can put into, like, to treat like notebooks. You could actually, every object could be seen as a notebook too, so like if you're from Evernote where everything is a notebook, these are your notebooks. You have a notebook for blinds, for blog posts, character, events, goals, sequels, prequels. This is kind of related to the books. Twitch, whatever, word libraries, and all these kind of things. So it could literally be a notebook, every single thing. So you probably don't need another notebook like this. But I like the idea from it because my friend AJ Design, she has a Notion second brain build from this guy, I think Thomas. I think his name was Thomas. I have absolutely no idea. I completely forgot again. And he has this small section down in the corner, or she has it, with notebooks where she can write certain things in it. And I was kind of treating it the same way. You have the notebooks itself, and then if you go in, you have the pages that are within this notebook, so they will be added here, and then if I slap it down, they will be all listed here, you know, like linked. And if you go to them, you will see down here that they are linked to the notebook, and also when they were mentioned, because as I said, you will see everything in terms of backlinks pretty easily the moment something is linked. Also, if I go to friend 1 MC1, I can see all the moments where that friend was mentioned without me doing much besides linking the character. Yes, and it is something that I am writing. And here you see all of it, like if you untoggle it. If it's not toggle, if you're you know, you see only this. And then you can write stuff regarding that friend. Or MC1, you could also see whenever that person was mentioned. So this is also totally manageable or doable or usable for authors if you want to. So, but let's go back. As I said, we want to create a custom journal object and items object. For that, we are going to actually go to the Academy and actually, how many times did I say actually just now? We need to go to the documents to be true. Documentation, because that's where I got it. Oh my god, this is a dark mode. I will make sure you can read it. So let's see where exactly I found that. I'm kind of confused because I thought I actually added the links somewhere. This is strange. And because I didn't do it when I was creating these, I have no link to my day when I did this. Because I'm pretty sure I have the stuff within my daily notes somewhere. And that's why you should do it from the within the daily notes, because then it is linked when you did these. And probably Friday. Did I do that on Friday? Bitten by desire, were private. Did I do the links here? No, I thought I did. Did I do it on Tuesday? But I did do that, so that's done. That is so weird. When the fuck did I do that? Based linking capacities docs. Oh, this is also really nice, cool thing. But that is also not it. Anyways, let's go back to the day. So let's see if we can find this journal. Date formatting templates. Where did I do the... So we have at least one thing that I wanted to talk about, because these date formatting templates is also really fun. So we have at least one thing. But I basically went through applications stuff down here. They do have a really nice tutorials going on and things like that. So if you do need inspiration, you can totally use this section, like Capacities docs or applications. Was this within here? Date links, properties. No, that wasn't it. I think it was a actually use case, if I'm not wrong. So it would be within the academy, because they do have use cases there. Quick tip. Use cases here, down here. This should be it, so learn more. Let's go to use cases. To journal and track your capacities. I think this was it. Let's see if this was it, because daily notes, journaling, tracking for data. So this is also something that I did. Here, custom object type. Here, create a custom journal object type. That was it. So we'll go through this and actually create one. But I am going to do that on my playground. You see here the notes and notebooks that I created during that day, last Saturday. So here it is. So properties, we'll go slowly through it and create it while we're at it. Okay, so capacities, this custom case or your user case, is create a custom journal object type. If you want this, because truthfully, your daily notes section could be your journal. It would be completely linked, everything. You could go back on your monthly view and you would see all the dailies that you have created in that month, and it would be like a notebook. This in and of itself is a notebook, and you could actually see everything collected. It has a date already on it. You don't have to worry about that. So this is actually would be completely functional for a journal in and of itself. However, if you do want a completely, like an extra object type for it, where you can track data like your sleep, mood, etc., and keep a journal in a dedicated place instead of the daily notes, creating a custom object type for journaling is the way to go. So properties are a great way to collect data in a structured way, they say, and block properties, open space for a diary, your thoughts, etc. To keep everything organized, we will create at least two main object types: journal entries and journal items. So we have two object types to make. We will start with the journal items. This is your object type for tracking categories, so we don't need tags. Let's create that while we are at it. So you see, you can totally use this for, like learning capacities. All right, let's create a new one. Let's start, because they did create their own, so we'll do that. So this is a journal item, and now copy paste this and add an S, then pick a color. I like pink, so we're gonna go with a pink background. And for journaling, we take a writing pen, solemnly. I like fountain pens, so I'm gonna use a fountain pen icon, and then create object type. Now you have a object type journal items. This object type needs, you know, like categories, tracking categories. Okay, they continue with, as we want to track our daily mood, physical states, we can create some objects and collections for similar items. Moods, objects can be happy, motivated, meh, exhausted, and physical states could be the objects energized, headache, fatigue, or whatever suits you, depending on how your physical are. For me, it would be sleepy because I'm sleepy all the time. I don't have much energy. And then you can actually view them in a gallery view, like so. And a mood list like this. So we have the object type, and now we need create some objects and collections for similar items. So let's kind of like create objects within the journal item. Okay, so let's call this one a fatigue, like let's copy what they did. Then add a new one. This would be dizziness. Then fever. Fever. Da, 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 fever. Alright. Then oops. Headache. Headache is totally me because I have headache and migraine, so let's add migraine. Migraine. Because it sucks when you're kind of like when you're with this. So, and then we will also add the moods, like so. Like mood can be thankful. Then we're gonna go with sad. I should probably decide whether I want to write them with capital letters at the beginning or not. Exhausted. Exhausted is also a really often thing for me. Motivated. We could also use one. Motivation is broken. Let's go with that. Motivation is broken because, yeah. Or has left the party. Now let's go with has left the party. Has left the party. Because yeah, sometimes you just absolutely do not have any motivation at all. Hi AJ Design! Of course pink, yes! That's what she said. Welcome to my chatting. And more capacities. How was work? And seeing that you're online already, seems you had home office today. Because otherwise you wouldn't be home yet. Alright, also let's add happy for the mood. Happy. Okay, so now we have these two. What did they do next? You want to have even more options. Create collections for medication, supplements, or whatever makes sense to you. First, start simple, expand as you need it. You can always add more structure later. Use collections to group similar items and keep everything organized. Let's do that. Let's categorize or like put a collection in for mood and one for physical stats. So let's see. Let's create. So happy is a mood. Let's multiple collection. Motivated, exhausted. No, exhausted is not a mood. Sad is a mood. Thankful is a mood. Okay, so let's create a collection. This would be mood. Create collection. And now kind of like select the others. for the physical stats. And exhausted. Collection, create, physical stats. States, not stats. Okay, let's create that. So we have now the collections for both. So if you go to the journal items onto the dashboard, we can actually go to mood and would only see the mood and physical states if we go on to them, and we can create a list if we wanted to, like so, depending on what we want. Whoa. Okay, AJ wrote, yeah, last day before my vacation, so I stayed home because of the home office that I said. And AJ also wrote, it was really quiet today at work. Quiet? At your workplace? Okay, you were in there in person, you were in home office, so probably quiet. Were your neighbors quiet? Because sometimes they're not. At least not from what I heard from you. Alright, so we have these two with collections, and if you want to go more granular, you can even turn collections like supplements and medication into separate object types. So if you wanted to, we're gonna leave that out because we don't have that much. So now we need another object type that is called journal entries. This is where your daily records live. Think of it as your digital diaries with superpowers. First, we need a date property. So let's create a new object type. Let's get them. And we need journal entry. Let's go with a little bit of copy paste action again. Paste it and turn the Y into an IES for entries. Let's use another color. Let's use teal. Teal is a good one too. And for the entries, we are using AJ said, no, my neighbors were loud like always. And added, I need to go shopping after your stream. Yeah, you won't be able to do it tomorrow, or do you simply want to do it today so you can stream tomorrow all day? Alright, let's go with kitty cat. Yeah, we want a kitty cat, so let's use kitty cat. And this object type needs a date. So first thing we're going to create, all object types when they're created have content blocks, tags, and title. You can delete the tags and blocks and only have the title. However, these three are primarily always there. So let's add a date. Date. There's the date. Date. They didn't say anything specific for this, so we're gonna leave it as it is. Back to journal entries. So next they say, okay, let's go with, okay, by pushing a button. So this will create a button, as I've mentioned before in our daily section. That way we can create something new. And also what we're gonna do is we only want to see the button once a day. So visibility, where is it? Hey. That's weird. Usually you can actually create the button that you only see one. Kinda confused now. I will go back to this later on and then see if I can actually... Kinda confused why the button isn't there. Alright, let's continue on. Or is this on this here? No. This object type has a date property. It is therefore integrated in your calendar. You can select your preferences here. Oh, here. Okay. I overlooked it. There it is. So if you're only, when you write in your object, you can select that you only want to see one per day. Okay, AJ Design said, I need some food now. My fridge is really empty. AJ, I'm hungry. I streamed before work, so I could not go in the morning. Yeah, I saw. I get a message, like an email whenever you go online, like, I'm on my way to work. How the fuck can you actually stream right now? Yeah, that's the good part about having a late shift, I guess. Okay, we have one per day, so if you clicked it that day, it won't allow you to create another one. That will keep you from creating multiple for the same day. Let's continue. Besides the date, here's what we will track. We will track sleep section. So, like, add property, a number, then use progress, sleep quality. So we want the hour. So it's a bar from 0 to 8. So let's go with an 8. And we want sleep green. So like these are sleeping hours. Okay. So like let's see if we can find something with sleep. Oh yeah, let's use the moon. Okay, so we have that. I don't think this needs something else completely. Next, we are going with sleep quality. And again, we're using a number, I think. Yeah, again, a number, progress property. Okay, number, progress, and we have 1 to 5. We're gonna leave it, make it tier. No, this is green. You wanted this. Okay, let's use this one. This is a sleep quality. Let's see if we can find something else with sleep. Yeah, if you have a bad sleeping quality, it's trash, so you totally need to fix that. AJ Design wrote late shift in combination with working from home, otherwise it would not be possible. Yeah, it's because you have to leave so early. You take ages until you're at work, especially with all those gosh, I miss the vocabulary. With all the traffic stuff going on because of working stuff. Like, God, what the fuck is Baustelle auf English? Construction site! Yeah, with all those construction sites on the street, and then not being able to go with the route that you're usually using, and then you're kind of like taking ages. For things that usually could take you half an hour, you can easily take 2 hours if you have a lot of construction sites on the way, and you have to kind of like switch public transportation like 25 times. So that is not no, this is just exhausting, something like that. But it's possible. And the city she lives in. Alright, we need a sleep notes. That could be a text property. So we need a text property, and we're going to call it sleep notes. We'll leave everything as it is. Let's go back to this. And this is where you're kind of like, for those nights when your cat decided 3 a.m. was a party time, or tracking your dreams, or how you slept, or whatever, like woke up 4 in the morning and headed to pee or something like that. AJ wrote, today started another construction site at my tram station, so first bus, then tram. As I said, construction sites are a pain in the ass, guys. It really is. And when there's summer break, like holidays from school, these constructions, it's like a disease. They're kind of like sprawled all over the city, not just her city, but also my city. And then you're as a driver, you're like, how am I supposed to drive and navigate through the city when everything where I want to go has 5 construction sites, and I have to kind of like drive around the city on the outside just to get to my location where I usually only take 10 minutes or so. So construction sites are a pest. They're needed, don't get me wrong. Some of them are needed, but some of them are like, why the heck are you opening the street again? You did it like 2 weeks ago. It was finally closed. Why are you opening it again? It's like some streets in my city are open and closed all the time. It's like there's a permanent construction site. If you're lucky, you have 2 weeks where there's nothing, and then they're back with their construction site and they open it again. Or simply like 5 meters down the road, they're opening something up, and you're like, why couldn't you have done it like one thing and then close it all again? Like, do it all at once. Just how shitty at planning are you actually? So it's completely annoying, I'm telling you. AJ wrote, I think you are a little too loud when you're mad. I'm sorry. Well, let's check OBS. So where is it? I could go down with the decibel a little bit so that I don't get too loud. Alright. But yeah, I'm using public transportation. It's not that bad. That's the moment when you're happy about public transportation usage, because you don't have it. You only have the trouble that like every few days you have like the tram is late because of an accident on the road, and like, oh, can't you drive? How bad are you at driving? People can't drive for the life of them. Absolutely not. Or other things that are wrong on the way that makes them late. Anyways, let's go back for daily habits, like using check boxes for quick tracking. For that, we can actually use multiple. Let's do all of these, like yoga, workout, outdoor time, which is actually more like a number situation in my mind, as well as water intake, unless I specify it up front. So let's add some that are, for me, actually only check boxes. So like, did I do my yoga today? Yes. So that is a check box. What else could be a check box? You want to do your dishes on a daily, so dishes it is. There's another check box. Let's add something else. What else could we do? AJ, what else could we do for a checkbox? 10,000 steps? Do you want to use 10,000 steps? 10,000 steps a day. Stabby. So, 10,000 steps a day. I know she does it, so it's not every day, I think. But what else could we use for a checkbox? I want one more. Yeah, but what else could we do as a checkbox? Okay, AJ wrote that she did 10k steps yesterday and that she does it at least 15 times every month. That's how you get points for those from your health insurance here in Germany if you do that. And those points can be converted into money, and you can get actually something from it. Okay, AJ said plant care. You do everyday plant care, whatever that might be, like watering plants and things like that. So, plant care. All right, so we have those. And then we can add our wellness metrics: energy level, number property, mood selection with your journal items that we did. So let's add those. Let's add an energy level. This would be a number. Oops. Energy level. Okay, let's see. Yeah, could be an energy. And we want this as a progress bar with 5. And now we need multi-select with our items that we did. And we have our mood here. And we're adding a journal things like two-way linking. We're linking it both ways. It's a multi-select. And we have a fixed set. Calculate fixed set. Okay, we'll do that. That would automatically be there once you're using this. And we're also going to add it that way for our physical stats. Okay, again we're going to make it a two-way property with our journal entries. Like so. Add that. Also we want a fixed set. So the fixed set will make sure that you're not getting the whole list, but only the ones that you usually use for that specific space. Makes it more clean and easier to use. Oh yeah, or like plan care could also be removing old leaves according to AJ, which is also a good thing. But content blocks, I still want it at the end, so we're gonna track that down. This is quite a list of things to track. Okay, reflection. And then we have a reflection area. This is also a text property with highlight of the day. I like highlights of the day, so we're gonna add that too. Because you don't have to write much for it, you could like do a simple sentence or just one word and then go more into it somewhere down the line or in your daily section or something like that. I have something in this category like highlight of the month or month and 3 months, like describe the month with 3 words situation in my bullet journal. So kind of like, let's use the sword. Not that it would actually be like, yeah, let's use the sword. Okay, so what did they do next? Here's one special feature of your journal entries. Let's create a template that autofills the title of the entry. That is where our dates and tags are coming in, that I showed a tiny bit earlier. That will automatically insert the day of the day when you create it and you don't have to write it, which is pretty freaking awesome actually. Okay, let's create that template. This is what it would look like. You know, like it's a whole freaking list and you can still tag it. Alright, this is the template, so we're gonna call it new day. Simply, don't make it too complicated. Please don't. And then you add how you want to view your date. Let's open this one. And actually, let's look at it. Hey, I mean, come on. It won't get better than this. The view is awesome. I really like this browser. It allows me to do that. Alright, so let's zoom in a little bit so you can see the date formatting in templates. And you write this in the title. So how do we want to view our date? You can do a journal, you could write something in front and then a minus and then the date, if you wanted to. Like, if you want to do a monthly overview, you could write monthly, or a review, monthly review. You could write monthly review, add a dash, and then simply use the month in and of itself. Like, for that you would need the, for one, it's 4 M's. So, like, go with the S plumber. I have no idea how to call this thing. I'll be honest, I have no idea what it's called. Right, date, double dot, and then simply 4 M's. This will create a month. So monthly review, and this would be the date. However, simply using the month would be a little bit not much. So let's add the year too, so you can, you know, like sort it. The year would be Y 4 times, and then you can go with a slash or a dash or a comma, like so, depending on how you want it. I will use a dash. I will use a dash. I want to show how it will look like with this date formation. So now we have the new day. Let's go in here and use the date. Yeah, it doesn't work for the ones that are already created, so let's create a new one and delete this completely. Create a new one. And use the new date, and there you have it. Your monthly review 2025 September. You know, but the dash and dash kind of looks too weird, so we're gonna take out the dash for the next one. So this is how it would look like. You wouldn't have to write any title at all because it's already in, because of the template. And you can actually use the dot to make it a default. So if you go back out, because you added the template with a star or marked it with a star, it will automatically go like this. You don't have to click the template anymore. If you have multiple, it won't work because you would have to actually choose, and I wouldn't suggest to use one as a default and change it later on, especially if you're using this. As you saw, the ones that are already created, it won't change the title. Alright, so let's go back to the template and work on that. Add it. So we don't want the second dash. You could also just not use a dash. But also, we want a date. It's like, it could go like, as they said here, year, day, and month. So like, the double D, big D is the date digit. So let's go with the DDD. Use a comma this time around. And the month. So it would be year, day, month. Not the German way, because the German way would be day, month, year. However, we want to be able to kind of like sort it, and if you don't sort it by year, it kind of meshes up. Like, it will sort the day and then you have the months all in the wrong order and things like that. Because you would have the first of the month, and then you would have all the month, like January, February, March, April, whatever, and then depending on the year, maybe the year would be still in it too. So you have, it's chaotic. I wouldn't do that. So sort after the year, make the year the first one. That way the year, all the year is together. And if you go with month actually next, it would actually collect all the month together. So let's use the month, year, month, and then the date. Let's do it like this. That way we have everything in order. Like, you would have 2024 all together downwards in this in the overview. Then you would have it sorted by the month itself, and then a chronology as like through the date. So this would make sorting the most easiest. So let's use it like this. And also you could, if you wanted to, add the weekday. The weekday, if you want only 3, like the short name of the week, you would add 3 Ds. These are the small Ds, according to this. or if you want the whole thing, you add 4 Ds. I think 3 small Ds would be completely enough for this. So you would actually quite be able to see right away which day it was of the week if you don't want to look into a calendar or anything. You could also add the hours, like the time, but let's make it. This is already freaking long, so no. Or maybe you shorten the month. You could use the month in terms of numbers. That would be 2 M's. The short version would be 3 M's, and we have the long version with 4 M's, so this is probably already quite long. Let's check it out. Oh yes, this is freaking long. Do we want it like this? Like, do we want it this long? Also, we have to remove the daily, the monthly review, because this is not a monthly review. Like, let's change it, add it. If you only want the date, you could simply use it like this, and then it wouldn't be that long. But you could also say it like you want the date at the front, but then again, the sorting and would be quite chaotic. So let's leave it like that. If we create a new day, we have 2025 September 5th on a Friday. That's it. This is how we're gonna leave it like that. But you have all the versions that you could actually create in here on Capacities documents, date formatting in templates, and you can actually create it anywhere. So use it if you want to, you don't use it if you don't. I find it really easy because you don't have to add the date and you can do this. No? What was that no referring to? I completely lost the plot. Truth be told. Truth be told, I've been talking way too much, so I completely lost the thread. I get way too sidetracked these days. Oh yeah, because of the length of the title. No, we don't want it this long. Yes, now that you mention it, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to know. But is this still too long? What we have right now? I mean, here, this title as it is right now. Is this still too long? A little. Okay, so let's go and back to the entries and the template and only use the short version, like only the short name version. I don't want to use the number in it of itself because that could be confusing. Like so. I think this is perfect. Okay, AJ agrees, this is perfect. Alright, so now you have seen how you can use this date syntax, and also you can find it, save it up as a bookmark in your browser, or simply add the link somewhere and you will always find it. I have the link, by the way, for the date syntax, but I didn't have the link for this tutorial. Nice. But we found it anyway. Okay, now let's try this out. Each time you create a new journal entry from your daily notes, the date should automatically be filled in as the title as soon as you select the template. So as you said, you can also mark it with a star and it will automatically be entered. And finally, let's create some collections in the journal entries, object type for each month. So you could do a collection for each month within your entries. Not really sure if I want to do that. But it says in the tutorial, so we're gonna do that. Create a new selection, collection, and it is for September. You could say it's only September, you could say it's September 2025. And then you have all your September in here. But I'm not really sure if you actually need it, because you could simply sort it ascending, like so, and then you would also be able to find it. The longer it gets, maybe just use a list format or a table, you know, then you can actually just click into this with a table. Yeah, you can also kind of like customize the view. Let's see, we need a date, we need sleeping hour, Let's add everything that we're tracking into it. Content we don't need. Word count we also don't need. The object type we don't need. Content preview we also don't need. Collections we also don't need. Text we don't need. So we have everything that we need. Now we can actually see everything. So the date, well, would be today if we wanted to add that, but actually, do we need that? We only created the date section because of the button that we wanted, but yeah, let's create the date. That would automatically be filled in if you were to create it from your daily section. Let's do that, actually. Let's create this from our daily section. Delete the object. We're gonna delete all of them, multi-select, delete objects. So let's go to your calendar. Here you see your journal entry. Click it. It has the September 5th, Friday, and it also has the... Why is the date February 2025? I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea why it said why it said that. Jesus. Okay, we slept what? 7 hours? Sleep quality was from 1 to 5. I think for me it was a 4, but only because I don't remember closing the window this night. Sleeping notes. Close the window and don't remember it. Remember it, but remember that it was raining. So, I did not do yoga, but I did my dishes before I left for work. I simply put them into the dishwasher and then left, like every normal person would do. AJ only slept 5 hours and 45 minutes. Oh my god, I would have a terrible, terrible mood with this little of sleep. I am no good with little sleep. Absolutely not. Especially not if it kind of goes on for multiple days. I'd be so freaking grumpy, not even chocolate would help. Okay, we did plant care. We didn't do the 10,000 steps. My energy level. What was the major number? I think it was 1 to 5 again. I'd say it was a nice 3. So, my mood. Select from all. So now we can actually see everything we had. But my mood was kind of like... Fatitude, but I also was motivated today, so let's go with these. And whenever you go down here, you will see all the ones you have selected at some point, and you won't see the physical ones. Physically, I had... no, Fatitude is not motivated. I had Fatitude today. This is not motivated. I was kind of like Fatitude. What else? But I also was happy today, so like let's go with happy too. Highlight of the day. What was my highlight of the day? AJ wrote that 5 hours and 49 minutes is normal for her. It totally is. She's also a workaholic, in my opinion. And AJ would be grumpy with less than 3 hours of sleep a night. Yeah, anyone would be grumpy with 3 hours at night only. But yeah, that's kind of like the difference. It's kind of like interesting how little sleep or how much sleep someone would need. Apparently men need less sleep than women, like 8 hours, and women usually need 10 hours. I could totally sleep at 10 hours a night. However, the usual daily routine, like sleep 8 hours, work 8 hours, which doesn't work at all, and then have 8 hours of free time, actually you do not, doesn't allow for 10 hours of sleep. But I could totally, during my period, sleep at least 12 hours a night and still be tired. Highlight of the day. So what would be the highlight of the day? My highlight of the day. Finally weekend. So let's go with finally weekend. So that's my highlight of the day. Okay, so now we have it all entered, and it would look like so. You could actually add it into the collection that is supposed to be going, and if you go to collections, you would actually see it there. And then you have multiple each day, and when you go to your calendar, journal entry should actually, oh yeah, that's why, because I'm on February, I need to go to today. You can't see it today anymore because you already created one. So this is how you create a journal and also kind of like customize it and use it for tracking. You could also do it in a table-like version that I actually wanted to use this month because I already created one for myself. But I don't think that the stuff that I added at the end, like the formula, is actually working. AJ Design wrote, I'm not even sure when I sleep it? What's the leave it? I mean slept 8 hours. So sleep is a unregular word, so it is sleep, slept. That sounded like slap, like you would actually slap someone on the cheek or something. But that's not what I meant. I mean slept, like SLEPT. Not slap, like SLAP. So, yeah. Well, this was it actually for today, and I'm kinda happy that I managed to do it within the time. Ish. I mean, I only did say it would be 1 hour, but when did I ever stick to the 1 hour? I think I haven't even once stuck to the 1 hour that I actually proclaim that I'm doing. It's usually about 15 minutes longer than the 1 hour. Maybe I should kind of like change it, but I wanted to see if I can actually fill an hour. It seems I can, so we can actually change that time a little bit. And you can actually change it however you want. You know, you don't have to do this as it is right now, but it would actually give you a good overview what you've done throughout the month. And if you do the table view, you can actually see it like so, depending on what is important to you. So let's kind of like close this one for now. This way you would actually see it all in kind of like a table view, which would also be nice. You can actually say that you don't want to see text, so you go on to like, let me zoom in for you guys, this customized table view point, and then text property visibility, and you can say you don't want to see the tags. You could say you don't want to see the date if you actually don't, because in the title already it says the date, so you don't need that. And you don't need to see the collections or the content. You just want to see the tracking part, so the properties. Like the sleeping notes, if you actually don't really need to see them, you could also say no to that. So the text properties. The highlight of the day I would actually want to see because they are kind of like interesting. There's something in bullet journaling that is the same, like 1 line a day. In your monthly overview where you do that, you could also do that here, like 1 line a day. And you have a real collection of it. And then you would actually see it. So if I kind of zoom out, the way it actually would be like this. But that would not be readable for you guys, so I usually zoom in so that you can actually read what I'm doing. So this was it for today. If you liked it, I hope you're coming back for next week. I have completely forgotten what I've planned, but by the time this next stream rolls around, I might remember what it is, or I can simply look it up. Because for what do I have a note app if I don't write it down, right? Okay, AJ said, see you next week, and I see you guys next week, and I hope you have a good start into the weekend, and I'm going to eat something if I find something that I want to eat, because before the stream I didn't. So I hope you have a good day. Bye.